Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tell everybody about your birthday party and how much cake you ate and all the toys that you got. We're gonna tell them all about all the farm animals that came and they partied till the break of dawn. And we're gonna show them your new guard dog collar. Yes, and this is how we're gonna start off the live stream. And this is gonna be episode 16 of Mudding with Beags. And we're gonna tell them all about all the mudding and all the mud flood and all kinds of other craziness that's going on in this world. And we're gonna try to share with them what we learned this week and last week and the week before that, and then we're going to bring it all together and we're going to say hello to everybody and welcome to Mudding and Beags, episode 16. We're ready to rumble. Muddin is an official guard dog this week. He is 2.0 years old. He got him a new guard dog collar this week. He's ready to go. He's got muddin colored mud guard dog collar, and he's ready to go. Hello, welcome everybody. How's it going, Billy Philly? Hello, GT, 1982 Mustang. Yep, we're all ready to go. We're going to do some partying. Hope everybody's doing okay tonight. And got a few little nidbits to go over this week. And I think we'll get into some interesting stuff later. But I think we'll start off with going in and doing a little bit of mudding. And see what we can find on that front, and then a little bit later we'll talk about a couple other things that you might find interesting, shake it up a little bit, and but I think, let's see, let me roll my dice. Whew. Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a little bit of going in and looking at last week. I forget the name of the viewer, but they were asking to look at Scotland, and we started talking about Edinburgh. I think that's how you say it. And they wanted to go look at Scotland for mudflood stuff. But I think the consensus was, let's not look at Edinburgh, let's look at somewhere else. And I just looked around real quick to see if we could find somewhere to look. And I came up with Glasgow, I think it was. So anyways, I figured we go look at that and see if what we can find there, if anything, and see how that turns out. And we'll make sure that this thing is getting going. Glasgow. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. I am not Scottish, so excuse my French. But we're gonna wait. I gotta wait for this thing to make sure it is going. Okay, let me change my little doodad here and get it to where it's right, and this should be good to go now. I don't know what that's showing. What is that showing? I don't know. All right, hold on a second. It ain't functioning right. I don't know what this thing's showing. Okay. Let me try it again. I swear StreamYard has gone to hell. Let me try that one more time, folks. And I believe it was you, Sugar Pie. I believe you wanted to go look at Scotland, which I'm trying to do now to get it to go there. Okay, there it's going. Okay, now let me get my doodad right. I don't know why, but every time I have to switch this up. Anyways, you were talking about Scotland, and so I figured we'd go see what we could find in Scotland, and I saw Glasgow, and I thought that might be interesting. I figured nobody wanted to go look at Edinburgh because everybody been to look at that already. So basically, if you're new here, I call this Google dropping in, and so basically what I do is I get on Google Earth here, and I look for what I believe is the epicenter of the original city is. And sometimes I find it pretty quick. Sometimes it takes me a hot minute. But what I do is I look around for certain types of construction. And once I find something that looks appealing, I'll drop in. And so now I've found something. And I think what I'm going to do is drop in about maybe here.
and just the idea is I'm going to look around. That gives you kind of a bird's eye view. I'm going to drop in here. Well, I'm grabbing my guy here, and I'm going to look around, and I'm just going to point out the old world to you, and so you can see it. Now, this looks like an Art Deco-ish building, which I believe is old world, but I think there's a kind of a weirdness to the Art Deco stuff. Um, there's like a transition to it between maybe the old and the new. Art Deco is very strange. This is old world right here. And I guess the point of this is to be able to spot the old world that's already, that's still here. And you'll see how they've brutalist facaded the bottom here. But this didn't look like this originally. Originally, it would have been beautiful. But then they did the same thing here. They came in with the brutalist facading and destroyed it and said, oh, it's modernism. No, they were hiding it. It was just a cover up. But there's remnants of it still there. And a lot of times, all you have to do is just look up, and the tops a lot of times weren't done because a lot of times people just don't look up. I believe that's a Phoenician head. Got an unscrubbed cartouche there. So you have all the same kind of stuff that we see over here in America, and this is across an ocean. Now you see they've added this black business here. That looks modern to me, but there's an older building underneath it. Now another thing is you see a building like this, and to show you a little trick, a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, you can go back in time and switch the year, and you can see the building, and you can see what was there. So see what they're covering up there. Let's see if it goes back a little more. It's about the same. So that's a little trick you can use. And the old world is still very, very here. I want to look at that one. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. Timberland. I used to wear nothing but Timberland boots. Oh well, of course I guess I still do. I'll still wear Timberland boots. Now I wear the Timberland Pro boots. I guess there's a difference, but I wear the composite toes, which I highly recommend. So much better than the steel toes. The weight difference is amazing. I go through at least a pair a year. I just walk right out of them. I don't know. I do so much walking and messing on things, it just tears them up. There's some unscrubbed cartouches. That one's got a ship. That one's got a castle. I think a lot of the stuff over here was preserved much better because they didn't have to hide the narrative. Because they can get away. See that there's old world all the way down there. This place is just totally covered in old world stuff. Everything we're looking here, I believe, is old world. I don't believe this is modern. And when I mean modern, I mean I don't believe it was built in. They'll say it was built in. I don't know what their history is here, but they'll give you anything from 1700 to 1940s. But I don't believe that. I believe that it's much older than that. But it is still very, very here. And then they'll do something like this, and they'll put this horribleness in here. And we can check our date to see if it goes back any and sees it. You can see it uncovered. There you go. So there's the old building underneath. So that's a little trick you can use, which is really cool. Let's get out of here and see what else we can find. I kind of like to move around a little bit. There is so much here. You could spend all day looking at that kind of thing. I want to look, see if there's any residential. I don't know what I think the residential areas are much different overseas than they are here. This is all modern. Factories are cool to look at too. There's a factory, it looks like. Yeah, that's old. And it's still, available to see. We just have to be, willing to look around and I mean, look at that. How cool is that? But it's everywhere. I don't know if there's. Let me kind of come back out. I don't know Scotland at all, so bear with me a second. Maybe I can find a different. I'd like to find a small. I don't even know if that's turned right. That would be north. Okay, that's better. And I believe Scotland is the upper portion. Is that correct? I'm going with that. I'm thinking Scotland. Yeah. Okay, Scotland. Okay, so let me see if I can find like a smaller coastal area and see what we can find. This looks promising. I don't know about smaller, but let's drop down in there. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Got some mudflood winters down there. And why would you build like that? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. There's no particular reason that you would well, I want to look at it. Sorry folks, this thing goes crazy sometimes. I want to let me get rid of this and this. It makes it a little bigger, I think. Oh, what's that back there? Let me go look at that. Ah, wait a minute. I'm lost. Ah, here we go. That's it. Queen's Hotel. That's old. I hope you all had a good week. Look at the mudflood winters right there. They've glass blocked over. Oh, here's some mudflood winters right here. You got the old grates there. That, I think that is pavement light right there. Yes, that is pavement light. It's really hard to tell, but that green, that stupid thing keeps getting in the way. The green portions of that are glass. The brown portions, tan portions, however you want to say it, looks like wood that they've plugged holes with. And then the white portions look like concrete fill. But that glass, that is pavement light right there. That is a very rare form of pavement light. And I tell you why it's rare. It's rare because they were so big. That's about a 4x4 square, and they were super easy to break. So they and they did a lot of this. They used different kinds of pavement light in the beginning. You had like 6-inchers and things like this, and they got rid of them quickly. See, there's some more right there. That's pavement light. That's pavement light that's been completely covered over. There's some right there. That's all pavement light right there. That's cool. But they got rid of it because it was they would break so easily. Even the little ones, the small ones even break very easily. So, it's glass. I mean, anything can, bounce on top of it or bang into it and break it. So, they had a real problem with that, and that's why they got rid of them. That's pretty. I like that. Oh, I heard a interesting theory this week. I'd like to do some more thinking into this, and if you want to add any of your 2 cents into this, I'd like to know more about this. Now I'm going to try to give the basic version of this, and this isn't a great example, but it might help get the idea across. The idea, they were showing a cathedral. I don't know where, but they were showing a cathedral, and they were look at that door. That's nice. They were showing a cathedral, and they were showing how they layered. They'd have one type of stone and then another type of stone. I don't remember the types of stone, but one of them was a limestone. But anyways, there was one stone that was, they said, was made of a certain materials, and it was piezoelectric. And then the next one was a limestone layer, and they said it was an insulator. So it was piezoelectric insulator. But which I was like, okay, I can get on board with that. But then this is the part that really that floored me and got me like, oh wow, that's an interesting idea. They were saying, so basically that's organite. That's an orgone accumulator. And when he said that, I'm like, well, I'll be damned, you're right. And that's true. The idea of organite or orgone accumulators is that you take a organic and an inorganic material, or a material that can positively attract or positively store, and a material that negatively works or is an insulator, and you layer it one after the other, and it creates the orgone accumulator or organite effect. So what if these churches, I mean, look in here, you've got this type of stone here, and then you got this type of stone here. That's two different kinds of stone. Okay, we look at it, that's pretty and aesthetic. But what if this isn't aesthetic? What if I'm just shooting turds in the dark here? What if this is an orgone accumulator? And then they use, the cymatic patterns in the windows for it's like a big ass healing machine. And being in there, but you get the light frequency going, you get the orgone energy. What basically the orgone accumulator, what it does is it takes negative energy and turns it into positive energy. And then, I think, now this is a little theory of mine, is that I believe that the monstrances that they use in the Catholic Church, I believe that they were some form of technology, and maybe they were a component to this electrical system of some sort. But anyways, that's just something I ran across this week, and I've not had any time to look any deeper into it. But just on base, thought, that right there like floored me, because I was like, that actually has some merit. And I need to look deeper into that. So anyways, if you want to drop some comment about what you might think about that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So anyways, let me move on from Scotland here. I was watching a short video the other day. It was like a news article, and they were talking about this little town called Linglestown. And it's this little town here in Pennsylvania. And they were talking about there was this house, and they were going to demolish it. It was the oldest house in the area. It was pre-colonial, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, okay, well, if that's the oldest house, let me go look at this town and let me see what other, structures they would have. If they're saying this is the oldest structure, let me, how I'm going to be nosy. I'm going to go and check out what they have. And, I found something kind of weird. This is a town that has no town. There's no buildings to it. It's only houses, which is kind of a first for me. I mean, normally you see at least a small downtown area, but this is the main drag here, okay? And I'm just going to kind of do a drive by, and there's no buildings, there's no downtown. It's just, A-frame structures, maybe a couple brick things here and there. But this is the main drag. This is what they call this little town. So then, I was like, well, that's kind of weird. I wonder if there's any, you know, old world near it. So then I looked over here and I saw this Harrisburg. And you go over here, this little place, Harrisburg, and you've got this massive city. And I just thought that was really weird. You've got this no town, and then you got a massive city. And I hadn't looked at this, but I just thought I'd share it with you guys to see, oh, there's some mudflood windows there, portholes, and just kind of see what we find. Because it just struck me as strange. Look at that, portholes up there, arch windows. Just struck me as strange that you got this town with no town, and then right beside it you've got this humongous old world city that's just, I just thought that was very interesting. I mean, look at this thing. What's going on here? I mean, is that a Capitol building? I guess it is. Oh, flat Earth asterisk right there on the front of the building. Look at all those portholes. So I mean, I hadn't looked around in here, but I mean, you get the gist. Is it's just kind of strange, I thought. But that's kind of how I research. I kind of, I get a tip of something odd, and I go nosing around. There's a mudflood window or two over here, in case you need those. Where'd those little ones go? I like those better. There they are. Little mudflood windows with iron rails in the front. But I just thought it was kind of cool. Welcome, Deanne. Hello, Kathy. Sigsar, what's going on? Hey, Frankie New West Reset. And I believe that Hippie said she had some business to take care of this week, and she would not be able to join us this week. So there's some prism glass, flat Earth asterisks right there. So I don't think she's around this week. So we'll see her soon. Mudflood drop in right there. So there's a lot going on in this little city next door to a town that has no town, which is kind of weird, I thought. Right. So, okay, all right. Now that we've gathered the generals in their masses, I'm gonna switch it up here for a second. Keep y'all on your toes. Got the beagle here doing his snoring thing. Okay, so as you know, I go back and I read the comments through the from the live streams, just so that if you have any questions or you have any comments that I can see those, because I just can't read them as I go. So I noticed some of y'all conversating last week about simulation theory and simulation and whether or not we live in a simulation. And I found it interesting because the comments that I was seeing were saying we're not on board with that. And I thought that was very interesting because I am very much into simulation theory and the universe being a simulation. So I've been thinking about it all week about, like, see, it's hard for me to know where you guys are in your thinking and why you're where you're at. So I was thinking, how do here's the thing. I think most people don't understand what I mean when I'm talking about simulation. When I'm talking about holographic universe, when I'm talking about we live in a sim, I think people think automatically that we're living in like the movie The Matrix, that it's a computer simulation. And that is not what I'm talking about. I do not believe that we live in a computer or ones and zeros, a hardware, software, uh, artificial intelligence simulation. That's not what I think. I believe it is a creation of the creator. Call it God, call it Bob, call it Sergeant Jackass. I don't care what you call it. I believe it's a holographic projection from the creator. It's a thought consciousness projection, holographic projection. It's not a computer. It's not AI. It's the creator's creation. It's the creator creating. And science is really kind of like getting to the point where it's like, yeah, it kind of is a simulation. So, they're not talking about it being a simulation from a computer level. So I kind of was going to share a few things about where I'm at on this, and try to help you guys. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm not trying to lead you to thinking a certain way. I'm just going to give you where I'm at. Like, and from there you can go do your own damn research and figure out what you think. So here's the thing. Everything is energy. Okay? Everything. It's all energy and vibration. Everything is moving. Nothing touches. It's all in motion. Most of what you think of as physical reality is not. When I touch my hands, it feels like I touch. It feels like it's a physical reality. It feels like it's there. But in reality, it's not. It's just particles, molecules, atoms, quarks, neurons. It's all this stuff floating around and coming into shape to form this simulation, this holographic simulation that we live in. And it feels real. It's designed to feel real. But it's not. It's light, it's energy, it's positive, it's negative, and it kind of, in a funny way, works like a computer does, where you've got, ones and zeros. You got positive and negative. It has the kind of functionality of a computer, of a software program, but it's not hardware and software. It's much more complicated. It's much more organic and natural. But it provides us the ability to have this experience. So I'm gonna share a couple things with you that I found. These are things that I've seen a long time ago that might help you kind of grasp more what these ideas that I'm talking about. So let me share this with you.
Did you ever wonder if there's anything more to the human than this physical body that we have? Well, it's real interesting because if we go back in history, they talk about something called spirit, an energy, and an invisible force that seems to be controlling who and what we really are. Quantum physics emphasizes that the universe is not really split into two realms, a material realm and an energetic realm. Quantum physics reveals that everything is made out of energy. What we perceive as matter is actually an illusion of energy and light, that there is nothing physical. What do you mean? I say, well, first of all, a very simple fact. when physicists started to take the atom apart and find there were things inside such as protons, neutrons, and electrons, then they say, yeah, but what are those things made out of? Then they got down to smaller things like quarks, and then I said, yeah, but what were they made out of? And ultimately what physicists recognized was at the fundamental core of an atom, there is nothing material at all. It's an energy vortex. It's a powerful energy field, and that all atoms are these energy fields. And the significance about that is, well, atoms make up humans. And so by definition, we perceive ourselves as physical structures, but according to quantum physics, we're energy vortices.
Imagine a cell as a television set, and that the environmental signal, like a broadcast, is being picked up by the antennas on that television set. And therefore, the cell responds to that broadcast. Well, guess what? Everyone has a different set of antennas, so by definition, everyone is receiving a different broadcast field. Field, yeah, that's what physicists refer to as the energy in which we live. So all of us are in a field, but each one of us actually receives a very precise and specific part of that field different than everybody else. No two people share the same self-receptors. That's why we just can't exchange cells, organs, and tissues with each other. Now comes an interesting part. If the cell is like a television receiving a broadcast, then consider this. What happens if you're watching your TV and it breaks? We say the TV's dead. I go, yeah. But now the question is this. Yes, the TV just died, but is the broadcast still there that I was watching? The answer, of course it's still there. The television's gone. The broadcast is present. I say, how would you know? Well, one way of knowing, get another TV set, plug it in, turn it on, and tune it to the right station, and the show is back on air.
Well, this would apply directly to humans as well. I have an identity due to a set of receptors receiving an environmental signal. If I die, I have no more reception, and therefore my broadcast exists, but there's no TV to express it. If an embryo shows up in the future with the same set of self-receptors that I have, well then guess what? I'm back online in a different TV. Does it have to be a male or female TV? Nope, that's the TV. Well, how about, is it black, white, brown, red, yellow? Nope, that's the TV. That's not who you are. You are the broadcast. And lastly, it's important to note that the character that you express in this life is actually sent back to your source, because your brain is not keeping your consciousness in your head, because magnetoencephalographs, unlike electroencephalographs, magnetoencephalographs read your brain function, but the probes don't even touch your head. There's a very important concept right here. Your thoughts are not contained in your head. They're broadcast into the field. And as Einstein emphasized, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle, matter. And then we put all of this together and says, your biology is an expression of this matter, but it's actually shaped by the field, a field that exists whether you're here or not. And then all of a sudden, the ancient story of spirituality now conforms to the modern day science of quantum physics. You're a field, you're a spirit, you're more than this. And when you understand that, it is the first step toward your personal empowerment.
Okay, so it gives you a little something to look at and think about. It's in our physical reality, in our 3D reality, it does seem real, and I get why people think maybe there is no such thing as a simulation, or there is no such thing as a simulation that's run by computers. I get that because it feels so real. But science is getting down to the quantum level and finding out that this is not so, that this is completely not true. The light spectrum, we only see a very, very small portion of what is actually here. So there's all these things that are going on that are kept from us so that we can have this experience. Now, another thing is that the simulation can be changed. There are multi layers to this thing. There's multi dimensions. There's the ability to go forward and backwards in time. There's the ability to jump timelines. Now, we can do these things. We just have forgotten how to do these things. But in time, we will regain these possibilities, these ideas, this knowledge. Now, in 2000, back in 2005, I believe it was, or 4, there was a video that I found in the video store. It had already been in the theaters, but it was a very influential documentary that I watched that it blew my mind at the time, and I wasn't ready for it because I understood it, but I didn't know what to do with it. It was like, okay, now I got that information, but like, it was like having this puzzle piece, but I was like, where does this fit into my reality? And it didn't fit into my reality because I wasn't ready for it. But when I did have my awakening, it was like, oh, I have that puzzle piece, and I inserted it into the puzzle, and it was like, whoa, you know. So anyways, this movie was called What the Bleep Do We Know? And it's a very good documentary. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend going back and checking it out. It's about quantum physics. And I'm going to show you a little clip here from that movie that I think also would help explain this simulation and how what we see as physical reality is not correct. It's just a holographic projection of what we think reality is, but it's not really physical. It is actually a made up thing. It's a consciousness projection. So I'm going to play this, and let's see how this helps you out.
You want to shoot some hoops? No, you don't have to be like that. Come on and play. Look, he likes you. Don't you have time for a little one-on-one? How long has it been since you played? Come on, you got the ball. Take a shot. No, my lady, not from there. It's out of bounds. Gotta be on the court to be in play. Welcome to Duke Reginald's court of unending possibilities. Sink the last one.
For her.
It never touched you.
Right.
And it's not solid. This ball is mostly empty.
In fact, the universe is mostly empty. We like to think of space as empty and matter as solid. But in fact, there is essentially nothing to matter whatsoever. It's completely insubstantial. Take a look at an atom. We think of it as a kind of hard ball. Then we say, oh, well, no, not really. It's this little tiny point of really dense matter right at the center, surrounded by a kind of fluffy probability cloud of electrons popping in and out of existence. But then it turns out that that's not even right. Even the nucleus, which we think of as so dense, pops in and out of existence just as readily as the electrons do. The most solid thing you can say about all this insubstantial matter is that it's more like a thought. It's like a concentrated bit of information.
What makes up things are not more things, but what makes up things are ideas, concepts, information.
And like I said, it never touches. Those electrons build up a charge and push the other electrons away before they touch. So nobody touches nothing. Come on, put your stuff down. Nobody's gonna take it. Like I said, this is my court. It's no problem. How long has it been?
I blink.
It's only in conscious experience that it seems that we move forward in time. In quantum theory, you can also go backwards in time.
You can always go back in time. What's the matter? Remember, it's empty.
How do you know this shit?
I read Dr. Quantum comics. Everybody thinks it's just kid stuff, but I know it's real. That's how I do my magic on the court.
Yeah, I always choose the Wonder Boy first. He's got the weirding way.
Well, Dr. Quantum says everybody's got it. Everybody's doing it. Doing it constantly. Each and every time you look.
When you ain't looking, it's like a wave. When you are looking, it's like a particle.
When you are not looking, there are waves of possibility. When you are looking, then there are particles of experience.
A particle, which we think of as a solid thing, really exists in a so-called superposition, a spread out wave of possible locations. And it's in all of those at once. The instant you check on it, it snaps into just one of those possible positions.
Quantum superposition implies that a particle can be in two or more places or states simultaneously. And this is a very bizarre concept and one of the hallmarks of the quantum world.
Superheroes use superposition, with the world being potential strips of reality. Until we choose. Heroes choose what they want. Being in many places at once, experiencing many possibilities all at once, and then collapsing on the one. The question is, how far down the rabbit hole do you go? Nice shot.
How can a system or an object be in two or more states at the same time?
It's very easy. Instead of thinking of things as things, we all have a habit of thinking that everything around us is already a thing, existing without my input, without my choice. You have to banish that kind of thinking. Instead, you really have to recognize that even the material world around us, the chairs, the tables, the rooms, the carpet, camera included, all of these are nothing but possible movements of consciousness. And I'm choosing moment to moment out of those movements to bring my actual experience into manifestation. This is the only radical thinking that you need to do. But it is so radical, it's so difficult, because our tendency is that the world is already out there, independent of my experience. It is not. Quantum physics has been so clear about it. Heisenberg himself, co-discoverer of quantum physics, said atoms are not things. They are only tendencies. So instead of thinking of things, you have to think of possibilities. They're all possibilities of consciousness.
You now can see in numerous labs around the United States objects that are large enough to be seen by the naked eye, and they are in two places simultaneously. And you can actually take a photograph of that. Now, I suppose if you showed a photograph, they'd say, oh, great, here's this nice blob of colored light, and I see there's a bit of it over here, and another bit of it. So you got a picture of two dots. What's the big deal? And if so, well, look right in the chamber. You can see it right there. Oh, I see two things there. You say, no, that's not two things. That's one thing. It's the same thing in two places. I'm not sure that people's jaw would drop about it, because I don't think people really believe it. And I don't mean that people say, oh, you're lying, or, oh, the scientists are confused. I think it is so mysterious that you can't even understand how amazing it is. And then furthermore, you've seen Star Trek and whatnot. beam me up, Scotty. So it all seems sort of, oh, well, what does that really mean? But you've got to really stop and think about what that means, that it's the same object and it's in two places at once. And people tinker in the lab and they get angry about things and they have lunch and they go home and they lead their lives just as though nothing utterly astounding is happening, because, of course, that's how you have to go about it. And yet there is this completely amazing magic sitting right in front of your eyes.
Quantum physics calculates only possibilities. But if we accept this, then the question immediately comes, what chooses among these possibilities to bring the actual event of experience? So we immediately see that consciousness must be involved. The observer cannot be ignored.
We know what an observer does from a point of view of quantum physics, but we don't know who or what the observer actually is. Doesn't mean we haven't tried to find an answer. We've looked. We've gone inside of your head. We've gone into every orifice you have to find something called an observer, and there's nobody home. There's nobody in the brain. There's nobody in the cortical regions of the brain. There's nobody in the subcortical regions or the limbic regions of the brain. There's nobody there called an observer. And yet we all had this experience of being something called an observer, observing the world out there.
Is this the observer, and which is so intricate to understanding the wacky, weird world of quantum particles and how they react? Is this, then, the observer?
In my modeling, the observer is the spirit inside the four-layered biobody suit. And so it's like the ghost in the machine. It is the consciousness that's driving the vehicle. And it is observing the surround. The four layers of the biobody suit have all kinds of sensory systems to pick up signatures from the surround.
Alrighty, so we've got that out of the way. Now let me share a little something here about energy, and let's see here, get this going. And okay, yes, is energy everything? Yes, everything can be understood as energy in a scientific context. And primarily because Einstein's theory of relativity, which states that mass and energy are interchangeable, equal MC squared. At a subatomic level, particles are seen vibrating energy rather than solid objects. However, it is important to note that the matter and energy aren't the same in the same category, and that energy can have a different scientific meanings than it is used in popular spiritual context. Now, this I looked this up the other day, and you know how it gives you different. Each time you look it up, it'll give you something different. I don't know if y'all knew that. Hey, how you doing? And welcome, Masonic Q. And I saw Machine Head 6961 and Viking God 22. Welcome. And so when I looked this up, what does it mean if we're in a simulation? Living the second time I looked it up, it gave me living in a simulation means the theory that our perceived reality is an artificial computer-generated world created by a more advanced civilization, which is interesting because that is not what I am thinking. That's not what I believe. That's not my thinking on this. I come from a spiritual perspective, and I feel it is important to merge spirituality and science. Religion just needs to be thrown out the window. Like all religion, just all of it. Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, the whole, just throw it all out. Spirituality. You got God, and that's all you need. You don't need any of the rest of the horseshit. So if we need a merger of spirituality and science, to see, the spirituality is comes from your belief, and your science is kind of like your hard data. And so if we can merge the two, they're both saying the same thing from a different perspective. It's like looking down the different end of a telescope. And let me show this. I'll show you this one first while I'm still here. If you look up holographic universe, the hologram universe refers to a holographic principle, a theoretical physics concept suggesting our 3D universe may be a projection of a 2D surface. This idea stems from the study of black holes, where the information of everything that falls in seems to be encoded on the 2D event horizon and is formalized in the ADS-CFT correspondence. Don't know what that is. Used in string theory. While a compelling theoretical tool, there is currently no experimental evidence that our universe is a hologram, and some physicists view it as a mathematical equivalence rather than a physical reality. So here's where you get the spirituality is saying it's a holographic universe, and science is saying, well, could be, but we're not sure. So it's like they're going towards it, but they're not there yet. They'll get there. It just, these things take time. Now let me show you one last thing on this, and that is this here. Now, the first time I asked the question, it said, what does it mean if we're in a simulation? If we're in a simulation, it means our reality is not the fundamental base reality, but an artificial computer-generated one created by more advanced civilization. This raises profound philosophical questions about the nature of existence, consciousness, and free will. Suggests our universe could be one of many simulations, possibly designed for research or entertainment. Now, I do not believe that. I believe that this is the AI's way of trying to hide what's really going on. I do not believe that we live in a computer AI simulation. I believe it is the creator simulation. Okay, here's the idea. Okay, the basic of what's going on. You got the creator. The creator is a single point. The creator is all that ever was, all that ever will be. Okay, and the creator's sitting around one day, and the creator's like, damn, I'm bored. I'm bored of being just everything. I'm just sitting around. I'm me, myself, and I want to expand my horizons. And so the creator creates this holographic universe, okay, which is symbolized by the circumpunct. You got a dot in the middle of a circle, okay, the circumpunct. Okay, now the dot represents the creator, the circle represents the universe. Okay, it's the oldest symbol of the creator in the world. It goes back as far as they can go. That symbol is there. So yes, all religions are cults. Yes, all religions are a form of control. It was a way of the elite to control the masses, and it was very powerful. Until people started getting intelligent and started having time to think and read and think for themselves. And when they started being able to translate things, then they started having problems, and they've tried to suppress it ever since. They've tried all kinds of things to confuse us. That's why, you went from having, one form of Christianity, having 26,000 different versions of Christianity alone, which is insane. But so you have the creator, and the creator sitting around one day and is like, it is a better way to describe it. The creator's like, I'm bored. I want to experience what it's like to be the creator. And so the creator creates this universe, and in this universe, it creates this energy that can be manipulated. Okay. And it can create within the energy can create within the energy. Okay. In the field. And the creator creates these souls that can then create. And these souls have then created this consciousness hologram that we live in. And so the creator is everything. And then the creator expands, and the creator is still everything. It's just the creator has expanded itself. And now the creator is experiencing Sugar by Honey Bun. There is the creator. And the creator is experiencing what it's like to be Sugar by Honey Bun. Okay. And then, at the same time, the creator's experiencing what it's like to be Frankie New West Reset. Whole different experience. Night and day. You got a man and a woman, different experience. You got, he lives in Canada, and she lives not sure where, but she doesn't live in Canada, I don't think. I think you said you might live in Scotland. I'm not sure, but you live somewhere else. Okay. So you're having a different experience. You're different ages. You're having a different experience. You're in different times. You're born at different times to different parents, to different conditions. Okay. You've had all these different experiences. Each one of us is having different experiences of being the creator within the creation. We're all the creator. And see, this is the thing that they hide from you. They don't want you to know how powerful we are. If people understood that we are the creator in the creation, creating, it would completely destroy the elite's control mechanism. They don't want us to know that. And so they have created religions, and they have created dualities, and they've kept us at each other's throats, trying to suppress this knowledge and confuse us and make it more and more difficult on us to actually create within the creation. So anyways, that's the basic gist of what I wanted to share. I think I noticed that some of you are not on board with simulation theory, and I wanted to be clear that when I say simulation, I'm not talking about a computer of ones and zeros, hardware and software. I'm talking about a simulation, a holographic universe created by the creator. And if you look into quantum physics, not just physics, not regular science, you got to go into the quantum. When you go into quantum physics, they are saying the exact same things. They are finding the exact same things. Now they'll go all the way up to calling it the creator or God, and they'll stop because that's just science. They can't go to that end result. But that's where they're going to end up. And they know that. They just don't want to admit it yet. So I just wanted to kind of, I think it's important when we're studying Mudflood. When I say that it's possible that the simulation was changed in 1943, I want you to understand that the simulation can be changed at will by anyone that knows how to manipulate the simulation. And so is it possible for our universe to be changed? Yes, absolutely, 100%. It's the scene in the movie The Matrix when the little kid said, the truth is that there is no spoon. That's what he's talking about. All right, we're going to come back and we're going to do a little bit of mudding. All righty. And I'm glad you were getting into that, Kathy. I don't want to go too deep into it because I found that if you do go too deep into a subject like this and people are not ready for it, it can overload their minds and it fries their neurological shit going on up here, and it's overwhelming. So chew on that for a little bit and look into that a little bit. Go watch the documentary What the Bleep Do We Know. You can find it on YouTube. I grabbed a quick clip of it. It was low resolution. It was not very good quality, but there is high resolution of it. But it is a very good documentary, and they have a part 2 that goes deeper into it. I've got the book here. I've read the book several times, but quantum physics, if you want to get into the science that backs up how our universe works and how science and spirituality can come together, it's in the quantum field. It's in the quantum mechanics of our universe. So let me present let me remove this and let's go ahead and get to our pictures this week. And let me get my thingy here and make sure that gets up there and we'll get going. I hope that helped you guys. It's nice to sidetrack a little bit and talk about these things. I know a lot about these things, even though I don't go into details about it much. So if you have more questions, put them in the comments or put them in the chat or leave a comment, and maybe we'll get back to it a little bit more. So we got lakefront of Illinois Central Station, Chicago, Illinois. So this is right by the lake, and you got the train yards running here. And it's interesting, this wall that's built up here. I believe that Chicago is a viaduct city, and this would be evidence of that. The way that this is designed here, you see how you have this bridge going across here. That is a viaduct right there. And then this right here could be a viaduct. And then I know there are viaducts over in this area back here, but I have a suspicion that the core of Chicago is a viaduct. So that's something I look into. And we got a Mudflood winter down here. Got some Ethertech antennas up here. Got a Morse architecture here. Watched a good video, Michelle Gibson talking about how the Wild Buffalo Bills Western show, I forget what it's called, but how that was propaganda to create the myth of cowboys and Indians, or as she called it, the John Wayne story. It's like, and that's so true. I totally agree with that. That they had to create this cowboy and Indians lore that we're told here in America. This is interesting little hill. Makes me wonder if there's something buried underneath there. A big old statue, looks like an Indian there. I don't know. Hard to tell. Could be a cowboy. I don't know. But yeah, the cowboy and Indian thing is a bunch of horse shit. That's a big tower right there. Good grief. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think this building is still there, and I think it was part of the was it not part of the World's Fair site? Or am I mistaken? I can't rightly remember, but I'm pretty sure that's still there and it was part of that site. I can't. I'm thinking it is. And we got Lake Superior Smelter and Dock, Dollar Bay, Michigan. I guess these are the metals for smelting here. I guess they put them in molds and that's how they ship them. That's kind of neat. I wonder what they build with that. We got the mast and the steam. So they're doing that thing. Two different technologies, which is interesting. It's like they're saying, either A, we don't know how to work this technology, so we're going to put these masts on here, or they're not sure that the technology will work. It's kind of interesting. We got Laval University, Montreal, Laval University. I'm probably butchering that. I don't know. They get those French names, and me no do no French. Me speak French fry. And we got a cobblestone brick road that's not melted. Homeboy's here smoking him a pipe. Interesting little decoration there. That's pretty. Keystone. Oh, that's nice. That looks a little bit hard to make right there. I bet that piece right there would be worth so much money today. If you know where to look, you can still find these things for sale. You're going to have to come off your wallet, though. Definitely going to be getting, you're definitely going to need to go to Amazon and get the gallon of lube, because that's really going to chew into your bottom line. Oh, you can see it better here. You got, it's got looks like a L and a U. Maybe another letter. It's hard to tell. Almost a Y. I don't know. I added something else right there. That's pretty. Got diamond symbology. Very nice. Very nice. We got League Island Navy Yard, USS Iowa, and Monitors Philadelphia. And that's a weird little contraption. Almost looks like a grain silo on a boat. I don't know. That's really odd. I don't know what in the world that is. I wonder what is that? It's got little houses on it. That is so weird. I have no idea what that is. I don't know. Here's a nice gunship. These things were really cool. So you got the guns right there. Let's see. Another gun right there. I wonder if this was I wonder if that's considered a battleship at the time. There's the big gun. I bet that's considered a battleship at that time. I tell you what, it kind of looks rickety in a way. I don't know. I don't know. I'm comparing that to a modern, like a World War II era. There's one of those big buildings. Those things are crazy looking. Got tall ships back here. All right, got Library of Columbia University, New York. Got boss man walking to work. Ladies in uniform. Architectural urn. Eagle representing the phoenix. Porthole. Etherfinial and fencing. Hey, Beagle. That's a weird little handrail there. I guess he's scrubbing the stairs there. Everything was immaculate back then. Yes, it was. It just, I considered that the past was not as nice, that we have advanced. We got, don't you start it. Got Tartarian line there. We might have to take a break here, depending on how he squeals. Let's see. Got flat earth asterisks right there. Phoenician shells. You're awful whiny for a beagle. You're supposed to be a dog now, not a whiny puppy. Got some Roman numerals here if anybody wants to run those numbers. Library of Columbia University, King's College, founded in the province of New York City. New York City. Flat earth asterisks. Big dome. Taurus fields. You hear that whiny noise? He just woke up from his nap. Look at it. Look at this big door here. And then they built the outcrop door. Look now, you and me going to go rounds and I'm going to win. You know why? Because I know where the dog biscuits are and you don't. So how you like that? All right, folks. Here's the deal. Little something here has got to take a break. So I'm going to have to go because he'll just keep whining because he has nothing better to do than whine at me when he's got to go. He just went patrol recently. He's got the bladder like a little girl, I'm telling you. So let's let me share the break video. I find it here. I got it. I ain't got it up yet because do you see me getting ready to take you somewhere and leave you? Then just wait a second. Let me get done. I'm gonna leave you somewhere, and we'll. All righty. We is back. We gotta get us a biscuit. Have our little secret biscuit stash. Hey. It's gonna turn and run. All right. Just so something I was thinking of. I saw a video post earlier. I believe it was autodidactic, and it's. I just read the caption. It's the title when it said how it was saying how AI is destroying creativity. I just wanted to make a statement that no, AI can never create like humankind. We have a creativity that AI will never match. It's kind of the same thing when we went from analog to digital. Analog recording is a much richer, deeper tone. It's a much better sound than digital. It's like the difference between CD and record and LP. That's the difference. It may look the same. It may be the same song, but it sounds better on LP. My point is that whereas it looks like AI is going to be able to create art and music, videos, things that, and it's going to mimic what we've done in the past. And yes, it's going to be able to make things, but it's not going to be able to create like a human. I guess my point is, don't ever give up on your creativity. Continue to draw, continue to paint, continue to make music, continue to make your art, your creativity. Be creative, make your crafts. AI will never be able to create the same way that a human can. It'll never happen. There will always be an energetic resonance that a human can create that a computer or AI cannot do. So never give up on your creativity, no matter what they tell you. They want you to give up. Don't give up. Never give up. All right, let me get to sharing here. We'll get back into it, get my setting right, and we'll get on to our next picture here. And we'll wait for it to come up here on my screen. Y'all having a good time there? Y'all got somewhere to go on Sunday nights now? Give you something to do? Lincoln Hall, Cornell University. Now, this is all between 1890 and 1910. They will tell you 1900, but I've seen pictures from labeled 1910, so I know they definitely went later. Got arched windows back here. Got a Mudflood drop-in door right here. Mudflood windows across the sides here. Torus field. That's pretty cool right there, how they did that. Got ivy growing on the building. I used to have this ivy growing up a pecan tree outside my house, and it took me a while to get rid of it because it was choking the pecan tree out, but I finally got rid of that thing. A porthole there and there. Etheric antennas. Ether fencing up here. What you doing, Beagle? Old hound dog runs this show, you know. When a beagle's got to go, a beagle's got to go. Isn't that right? But he had a big birthday this week. He enjoyed his carrot cake. Got him some toys. All his friends came to visit. He had a good time. He had a big birthday. Okay, this lobby of the inn. Charla Vokes. I am not pronouncing that right. The Beautiful. I don't know what that is. Some kind of, here, I'll give it to you. It's some of that French again. Me no speaking no Frencho. You know, it's interesting to me is that this furniture does not seem to match the decor of the room. Seems like an afterthought to me. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't match. Very nice. Got some Indian propaganda up here. And the reason I say propaganda is if you look into Dane Calloway's work, you'll find out about that. So check that out. Got Long Acre Square in New York. Got Penis Cap Boss Man here. He's not happy about us getting a picture of him. The 7-7 trolley, which looks to be running on third rail, which is the one right here in the middle. You'll see it here too. And that could be done in one of two ways, either a cable like they did in San Francisco, or it could be electrified where they'd have a bar that would drop down into that channel and it would electrify from underneath the ground. We got Fred being the horse that built America. We got Beagle, the beagle that got in the way and tried to drive people crazy. Go up here, check that out. Look at just incredible amounts of detail. I mean, that's just a sliver of that building, and look at just the incredible detail going upside that thing. Incredible. Arc lights, old S-Eric lights, another Penis Cat Boss Man, another Penis Cat. Boy, they got law everywhere. Man, y'all better watch your asses. Got some awnings, arc lights. Some lights up here. And, you know, the reason I point these lights out, lights are a big deal back at this time. Big deal. Got a etheric antennas up there and there, and another one here. Got awnings going all the way up. Scrub cartouche. Etheric lights up there. Another antenna. Got portholes here. These would open up, and it was a way for them to ventilate the buildings. That's old world tech. All those lights across the top there. See how they're open there? And then they would have channels that would run down to certain areas in the building to ventilate. And see, these are portholes here. You can see how this one's open and this one's closed. Those are portholes too. Big arches. My tomboy girl. All right. Rock on. Got a Mudflood drop in. And got a flat earth asterisk right there. House flats and apartments for sale and rent. Plumbing and gas fittings. Look at them awnings. That's some good looking awnings right there. Alrighty. Luna Park at night, Coney Island, New York City. And this lighting is what's called knob and tube wiring with incandescent light bulbs. And here you can see the wiring, and then you have the knob and tube which is the fixtures and the insulators that it runs on. Flat Earth asterisks. And the meltologist will tell you that this is Antiquitech lighting. So that's not true. Yet another lie. And we got eagle on the ball, representing the phoenix. Now, when I say eagle on the ball representing the phoenix, when I say that the eagle is representing the phoenix, I'm not saying that you're going to look this up and go, oh, there it says that the eagle represents the phoenix. No, this is an esoteric thing. It's hidden, a truth hidden in plain sight. They wanted to put, these phoenixes everywhere, but then they put the eagles to represent the phoenix. It's a cover up. It's like we're going to put it in plain sight, and those that have the eyes and the knowledge to know will know, and those that don't have the knowledge to know will think it's an eagle. It's them hiding things. So these eagles are added. Is my point, that they're not original. A gondola back there, it looks like. This is all knob and tube wiring. This is just incandescent lights. It's interesting. I don't know if it shows up. Where did I see that? Right here. It's like this, whatever material is on the outside of this thing is almost like paper. Very chintzy. So it's kind of weird. Madison Square and Dewey Arch, New York City. New York City. You got horseshit narrative stuff here. It's like Roman 1776, 1898, maybe 1861. So 3 different dates representing 3 different things. So we're representing the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, and help me out here. What was in 1898? What war? Spanish-American War, maybe? I'm shooting in the dark. Something we all knows. Got Fred's down here. That could be pavement light right there. Can't really tell though. Could also be ventilation into the subway. Not sure. Clocks are expensive. Torus fields. Ball finials. I think this is part of them, putting the ball globe idea in our minds. I think that's Medusa on there. There's your eagle again. So I think they changed things, and they added things to make it create a different narrative. So they didn't have to change everything. They just needed to change enough. You take down the right things, and then, you can hide a lot of stuff. These lights are cool. Madison Square over here. That's an incandescent light also. Got some statues on top of this building. Kind of weird. And why they let them tear down Madison Square, I just don't even comprehend that. That's incredible. Madison Street east of 5th Avenue, Chicago. Fred down here, right beside a coal hole cover. Got Boss Man sitting here. Boy, he's going for a drink. That fella right there, he's going to get him a drink. I'm just telling you right now. Got a Mudflood drop in. Got some pavement light right there. Arc light right here. Fred's just chilling. Chilling like a villain. And everybody's on donkey watch, putting you on donkey watch. You see a donkey, let me know. Need to make sure we catch these donkeys now. Ladies in uniform. Fellas in uniform. Mudflood drop in right there. You can go downstairs, see what's going on downstairs, because that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's where I want to be in this time frame. I want to go when, in a time where there's not a lot of electricity. I think I want to go underground to do my business. That sounds really interesting. Very lucrative. Not exactly sure how that's going to work out for us, but whatever. So there's some incandescent lights being run with the knob and tube wiring. That's a wild mechanism they got going there. Look at that. They got that pulley system. I guess they could pull it in and out. That's wild. That's some pretty hefty engineering right there. That's quality right there. I tell you, that's somebody put some time into that. Got their antenna. And these let's see if this has one. Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. This is a fire escape ladder, but also you see this contraption here, this pipe. This is a fire hose. It's not a hose, it's a fire hose pipe. And what they would do is they would hook up at the bottom and they would then carry a hose up this ladder, and then they would hook up a hose up here and they could have water on the roof. So that's an early fire fighting technology. You see it's coming down the roof here and then going down. I don't know if we'll see it on the ground, but it would let's see, where does it come down? It comes down somewhere right here. No, you can't really see it, but it would be right here. And then another time you would have them where they could hook up into the basement. And I've actually got video of this. One day I'll show it of an underground sprinkler system that where they would hook into the sub basements and they would turn the sprinkler on. It'd be an underground sprinkler system, which was very high tech back in the day. Today we think of sprinkler systems as no big deal, but back then that was high tech. That was big time high tech. So that's they're very rare to see them now. This is Madison, Wisconsin panorama from Capitol Dome between 1880 and 1889. Got a little something going on right there. Looks like there's Fred. Fred's always there doing his thing. It's like trolley tracks. Bum, bum, bum. Big old one right there. Smokestack. A big building there. That's a finial. Looks like we're doing some work on this one here. something going on right there and there. That could be pavement light right there. Hard to tell though. Interesting decorations. Stoneball finials there. Opera house. I just don't understand the opera thing because I don't know about y'all, but I can't stand opera. It's like listening to a cat dying or something. It's horrible. It's so bad. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't understand who all these people were that were listening to opera, but this is some interesting construction here. Look, they're building a little mud flood drop in there and a little mud flood winters on the bottom here. Or are they redoing something that's the foundation of it that was already there? I don't know. Got ether fencing right there. Got a clock. Clocks are expensive. And I believe they would have added these crosses. It's all narrative. Madison, Wisconsin, panorama from Capitol Dome. So this is the same, yeah. It's the same place, just a different. They've turned the camera. Okay, so this is what's catching my eye. I got meeting of the Freds here. So this must be a water trough, and I bet this is a water tower, which is interesting. It's kind of got a Moorish look to it. Got some nice awnings. Unscrubbed cartouche. Architectural urns. Dry goods. Millinery. That's where they would, I believe that's where they would, and then where the ladies would go get their hats and their stuff like that. Might be wrong. I mean, these buildings are just as good as what you'd see in, say, New York. I mean, they really are. The smokestack. Interesting little houses poking up here and there. Little ether antenna back there. All right, we got main shops of the Pullman Palace Car Company, Pullman, Illinois. Dog toothing. Ether antenna. That's a massive structure. Them awnings really set that building off. Really, really give it character. I think that building would look like a bunch of crap if you ask me. If it didn't have awnings, it wouldn't look good to me. I just think it looked like crap. What's up, Morgan? How you doing this week? How's life treating you? That's got a lot of character, that building. For a factory, I mean, that's a heck of a thing right there. Clocks are expensive. Got the 4 ones for the 4. Wind catcher, ether antenna up there. More antennas. That's a big building. That thing just keeps on going on down. Main Street, Birmingham, New York. You're treating yourself better. Well, that's good. There's where you would get your water. It kept a lot of times I keep these cups out so you could get the drink off there, off the fountain. There's your eagle representing the phoenix. My phoenix. Ooh, look at that detail on that thing. Good grief. My, oh my. What is the necessity of that? Man. I'm sorry. Like, you just can't even, like, what could you put against that today that'd be like, this compares with that they built back then? No. What? Look at that. Seriously. What have we made recently that compares with that? What? In quality, in craftsmanship, in symmetry, in beauty, in architecture, in artistic design. What have we done? Architecturally is what I'm saying. What have we done? Hey, there you go, Morgan, got the Weeding Company. Yeah. Have fun. This guy thinks it's hilarious that we're looking at him. I guess it is, kind of. We got to go back in time and see obelisk and wonder, what were they doing with those obelisks? What's this dude? What's he got going on? Clocks are expensive. It was a big deal to own a pocket watch back then was a big deal, y'all. Portholes. That was a major thing to have a pocket watch. Like, if you had a pocket watch, it was a status symbol. There's one of those arc lights that has the mechanism that they could lower it because they had to change these lights out so much because they would burn out real quick. Every day, I think. Like, it was ridiculous how fast they burned out. Malcon and El Moro, Havana, Cuba. I am just not. I speak English, y'all. Any other language I do not speak. Me no speaking no other languages. No Chinese, no Swahili or none of that shit. I don't speak no French, no Spanish, no Portuguese, no nothing. I speak English. Englisho. You no speaking no English? I don't got no speaking to you. Okay, we got American flags up there on our little ship here. 3-mast ship. Got a lighthouse, got a star fort in case you need a star fort. Now, of course, the meltologists, they'll tell you, that's a melted building right there. It got melted from the bottom up. And they've never touched masonry in their life. And they don't understand you can easily build on rock. Okay? You just start off with your mortar, and then you just build up. You just build right on top of the rock. It's called a foundation. You don't, in this situation, okay, for whatever reason, I can't tell you what their reason is because I wasn't there and neither was anybody else. Okay, they decided to build on this rock. They had a reason. I don't know what the reason is. Doesn't even matter what the reason is. The point is that you can build on this rock. You can easily build this on this rock today if you wanted to. But a meltologist will tell you that this is a cooked out building. I'm telling you, they're lying. They're absolutely lying. It's not true. This is not a. Are there melted buildings in our realm? I think there's possible. Is this one of them? No, absolutely not. No. Why would you cook? Why would you cook half a building? What good does that do? I'm gonna attack you. If you don't keep messing with me, I'm gonna attack you and melt half your building, you son of a bitch. See there, I melted half your building. Go to fuck yourself, asshole. Big Big old asshole, I melted half your building. Now what? What are you going to do? I melted half your building. I mean, what are you talking about? Why would you melt half a building? Why? What would be the point of that? What would be the logic behind melting half a building? If you're going to melt a building, melt the whole damn thing. I don't know. I don't know. I think meltologists are literally brain dead. Anyways, we've got Phoenician shells there. Wagner. It's interesting. We see the same kind of thing where they put the names like that on the side of things. Got a gazebo. Makes me wonder if there's an underground feature to that. See, they'll say, you know, when you look in the digital archives, it'll say 1890 to 1900, and here you go, clear as day, 1904. So, and that matters. You know, I mean, I've seen stuff all the way up to 1910. So, you know, if you got that going on, I mean, a lot can happen in 10 years. I think that's important to know. You got a parade of Freds here. Ladies in uniform everywhere. Big old cannon. I don't know what cannons are. I don't think they shot balls. That don't even make sense to me. I'm going to shoot a ball at you and you're going to shoot a ball at me. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to build a wall and you're going to come with your cannon. You're going to blow a hole in my wall. Then that means my wall didn't do any good. So what is the point of the cannon? I'm going to build a ship and I'm going to put cannons on it. And then you're going to build a ship. You're going to put cannons on it. And then we're going to pull up beside each other. We're going to fire at each other and see who sinks first. Or we're both going to sink at the same time. Or you're going to fire on my ship so much that we're going to give up. And then you're going to get my ship. And it's going to be so beat up that you're not going to want my ship. So what's the point? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's the same thing with we're going to stand in a line and fire musket at each other. We're going to take turns firing muskets at each other's heads. I don't believe it. I don't believe the thing about, we're going to take our swords and rattle our swords, and then we're going to charge, and we're going to charge with our swords into other swords and pray God we don't get stabbed in the face. I mean, what I cannot believe that. I'm sorry. I don't believe that people did that. I think that's some fairy tale adventure shit. It just doesn't even make no sense. Like, would you ask yourself the question, would you allow somebody to fire a musket ball at your head before you were allowed to fire at their head? Like, would you stand there and take it? Would you man up or woman up and take a musket ball to the fucking face? What's the answer? I know the answer. It's a rhetorical question. No, you wouldn't take a musket ball to the face. Frankie, here's your train. Frankie, I don't know if Frankie's even around anymore, but there's your train, Frankie. Frankie likes trains. But I just, come on now. I just don't, that narrative just doesn't work. This is Manuka Chunk, New Jersey, east end of tunnel, in case anybody cares. And this is something we built. See, we can build. We can build things. But then again, this is very easy to build. But we can build big things too. It's just, I don't think we did. I don't want people to think that I'm saying that we didn't. We can't build things. This is Marblehead Neck Yacht Club and Cottages. In case you care. In case you're interested. In case you want to know where this is. That's where it is. We've got sailboats everywhere in case you need sailboats. I don't think people think that I don't think we can build things. I think we can build things. I think we did build things. I just don't think we built the things they said we built, like in the past. I think at some point we did start building stuff. I think anything after 1943 we built, is my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that we didn't build before that, but I think anything after 1943, I just feel that we built it. So that's my cutoff date. And I have many reasons why I think that date, but it just make I kept seeing the same problem over and over again, is that I would see these buildings. It's like, well, I'm seeing a building here. It says it was built in 1890. And then I got this building here. It said it was built in 1939. And they're both the same quality. They're both the same style. They're in different locations, but it's like, it just the anomaly of that. It just doesn't. It didn't make sense. Why is one an old world building and the other one's not? And then I came across other things, and it just, I'm finding anomalies. I'm finding, the different buildings on the same spot. Sometimes, there'd be like a old shitty building there originally, and then a grand old world building after that. Or sometimes even worse, you'd have, two grand old world buildings on the same spot. And it's I think that's that's where I came in, where I believe they had the simulation change. They tinkered with the simulation. Look at the detail on that, just beautiful. I'm sorry, stand back here and it's like, oh, that's a nice house, but then you really get up on it, you really get a look up a lady's skirt, and that is pretty. That is pretty. Look at that. I mean, just the quality. That is just very, very nice. And I like these pillars. You got portholes over here, by the way, in case you didn't see them. But I like these pillars over here, these foundations. That's really neat. I like how they did it. See how they're not even? That's kind of cool. I like that. So we got the Masonic Temple in Chicago, Illinois. Let's go and get down in there. Let's see what we can find out. And we got Fred down here doing what Fred does. Another Fred over here. These big columns here. Got pretty awnings. Boy, those are nice awnings. They really set the tone of the buildings. Interesting details there. More beautiful awnings. At their fencing. Here's one of those ladder contraptions, and you can see where the hose hooks up right here. So that was a firefighting technique that they could utilize. They had a lot of problems with fires back then. Got clocks are expensive. Got 4 ones for the Mandela affected folks. It's a weird area. Strange. At their antenna up there. Got some detail on the side of the building there. Bum, bum, bum. What are we going to find? Temple Theater. Got pavement light right here. All the way around here. All the way over here. More pavement light over here. Possibly there. Can't tell though. Got a big old arch here. Fireworks. Well, that just sounds just awful safe. Store fireworks there. Got Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Boston. The Walker Building. MIT. And we'll go here, go check out ladies in uniform. She's holding her bunion, her booty bunion. That's what she's doing. Is that what you call that, a booty bunion? I don't know what she's got going on there. And this, oh, okay. I was about to say it looks like a man in a dress. It's a woman here and a man here. That's funny. You don't know these days. I'll tell you what. You got to check the undercarriage. You got Fred over here eating his lunch. Looks delicious. Look at that etheric light right there. That's really cool. Got portholes here. Tourist field. There's another eagle representing the phoenix. More tourist fields. Etheric antenna. Well, that's a flagpole. Got a V for the U. I believe that's old world rating. Just my opinion. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Opinions are like tail holes. We all have them. Some of them stink. Some of them smell like roses. But we all have them. You got the Pooper Scooper Man. Well, I almost went to the state fair this week. That didn't work out. And the boss wanted to go, and I wanted to go, and then we were going to take a third person, and they didn't want to go. So we just didn't go, which sucks because that would have been fun. But oh well. I was looking forward to that. Phoenician shells. We have here in Raleigh, they hold the state fair every year, and it is just a wonderful fair. If you're ever near Raleigh, North Carolina, want to go to a good fair, they put on just a hell of a fair. Always have. When I was young, I used to go at least 3 times a year, up until I was 18 probably. But we'd go first weekend, the second weekend, and we'd usually go on Wednesday because Wednesday was can day. Now it's Pepsi day, I think. But anyways, if you brought 6 cans of food, or no, it's Pepsi day back when I was young. Now it's can day. Pepsi day, if you brought 6 cans, empty cans of Pepsi for recycling, they would let you in for free. And so it was a good day to go because you could save money. And then they changed it to cans, and now they give it to the cans it's like a food drive. But it's still a good day to go. But we were going to go on Monday, which it was a good day. You don't want to go on weekends because weekends are just pure insanity. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Rogersville, Boston. Little man here with his bowler hat. Lady in uniform. Boy, I mean, just talk about just immaculate conception. Good grief. I mean, come on. How in the world are they dressing like this all the time, every time? In this time, there's Fred. I mean, everybody's just decked to the nines. I mean, just full on. This ain't Sunday, y'all. This is Tuesday. Where are they going? All decked to the nines, everywhere they go. Come on, really. Got Mudflood Winters over here in case you need them. Mudflood Winters, or little arched business there. And yeah, I don't like a fair when it's a lot of people because it's just horrible. It's a horrible place. But when you go when it's the downtime. Oh, another great time to go is when it's raining. If you go when it's raining, throw you on a rain jacket and you're good to go. You go up in there and nobody wants to go when it's raining. So you can go anywhere you want to and nobody's in your way. Perfect time to go. Another good time to go is even on the last day at the end of the day, because everybody's kind of done and over it. And they're weird things like they'll like have reductions on things because they need to get rid of stuff because they're getting ready to travel. Just weird things. It's just kind of a good time to go. Look at those Taurus fields, man. They're always putting the names up here on the sides, which is interesting to me. It's an antenna. And this looks strangely undone to me. Almost like they undid it. Arch winders. More Mudflood winders over here. Pretty awnings. It's kind of got a Moorish look there. Memorial Hall, Harvard College. And stone wall there. Some wrought iron work there. Got Fred hanging out. This is the water cart. They would run through the streets of this water cart. Here they're filling it up. See this pipe coming up? They're filling that up. What they do is they run around the streets and they spray the water on the dirt road so that it keeps the dust down. And that's how they did that. And got some funkiness over here. You see this railing here that tells me there's some sort of mudflood windows or something there that they're protecting you from falling in. Mudflood window there and there and there and there and there. And stained glass. Burke. Webster. Cymatic window, big old doors. Look at that stained glass. Man. Big old cymatic window. There's your V for the U. So it tells me I'm thinking old world, porthole there. Got the fencing right there. See that? Got your wind catcher. Got clocks are expensive. Got the 4 ones for you Mandela affected. Got ether finials here. Now let me point something out. That I've seen this building before and came across this. And I can't remember if this is I think this is the original. They have since changed this roof. It no longer looks like this. So if you go and look up Memorial Hall, Harvard College, and you look at this roof today, it doesn't have the same roof. They've changed it. So it's these little subtle things that are gone now. Like, from a distance, you wouldn't notice it, but you're missing this now. It's not there. And I can't remember what else is there, but I've run across this. I've looked into this before in the past. I don't remember when or where. I just know that I did. What are you dreaming about down here? Chasing bunnies? He loves chasing bunnies. I think he's chasing a bunny in his sleep down here. Sorry about that. He's getting crazy. Got Metropolitan Museum, Central Park, New York City. New York City. I think these benches are old. Well, that baby's pissed. She is mad. What the hell is on your head? What is that? It looks like the Green Man on her head. I don't know. That's weird looking. These boys is contemplating the universe here. Got Mudflood winters down here. In case you need them. Got Flat Earth asterisks there. That's my symbol. I believe that is the symbol that represents the flat earth. I've said it a billion badillion times. Penis Cat Boss Man. Etheric lights. Outcrop door because the door was too big, so they had to build one of these. And they say they did this so they could cut down on the air going in and out, which is true, but it's more true that the door was just too damn big. And how can a young lady like this open a 12-foot tall door? I mean, it's like that's just too big. You need a regular door. Yeah, they're fencing and finials. Kind of looks like a squatting man symbol. It's like skylight kind of stuff there. It's cool. All right, we got Michigan State Normal College in Ypsilanti, Michigan. I am not saying that right, and I don't even give a damn. Y'all can. Where is that word? Right there. That's your word. You pronounce it. I am no wordsmith. Wording is not my thing. Mudflood window down there. That's interesting archwork there. See how they got the dirt running against the building there? That tells me there's something back underneath there. Arch windows. Got your arched Vesica Pisces window there. Little Mudflood windows down here in case you need them. Little etheric lights. Normal school. I want to go to the abnormal school. I want to be different. Got the porthole, etheric fencing and finials, etheric antenna, portholes. I learned something new this week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to share it with you unless I find one, but if I do, I'll share it with you. Etheric finial up there. I'll have to find a certain kind of window that I learned something new about this week, but I've got to find one to show it to you. So when I see that next time, I'll holler at it. We've got Middle Harbor Bridge, North Sydney, between 1880 and 1900. And the bridge portion, very much looks kind of like to me like our work, but the up portions here, they look old world to me. So I don't know. Massive things. Got Minneapolis, Minnesota. Nice panoramic shot. Got Fred down here doing what he does. Get your hay. Looks like they've torn a building out here. Probably a fire. You see a lot of that now, gaps where buildings used to be. We really do not know what was here, y'all. Mudflood Winters, coal hole cover there. That could be pavement glass right there. Very possible. Coal hole cover. I can't confirm it without getting closer, but that does look like, that. Portholes. Big dome there. This looks like a cyclorama or a roundhouse. I don't see any thing talking about it, but it's also possible that the cycloramas were old roundhouses. So, that's an unknown thing. Got kind of a Moorish look there. Portholes all over it. And the Moors were in America before we got here. And the slave narrative was then created. And then they created the cover-up. But the original, what we call the original slaves were actually indentured servants. And they worked a contract. They were basically prisoners of war that were given the option of being a slave under contract, an indentured servant, and they had a contract. They worked their contract of so many years, of so much time, and once they worked their contract, they were given freedman status, and that's where the freedman comes from. But then you have I guess the next group of the slaves that were different. They were brought in to create the slave trade narrative because they were trying to cover up the fact that the blacks were here. The people of color, whatever you want to say it. We don't have a good term for it. Of course, we don't have a good term for white people. White people aren't white and black people aren't black. I mean, we all know this. But what else we're going to call? I mean, I don't want to be called a Caucasian because I think it's a stupid word. You Caucasian, you. I'd rather be called a honky. You damn honky, you stupid cracker. I'd rather be called that than be called you Caucasian, you Caucasian colored son of a bitch. I just think it's stupid, but whatever. That's me. A Minnesota point from Incline Railroad, Duluth, Minnesota. So we got a vernacular here, which is like a trolley tram that would go up a mountain, the side of a mountain, which is kind of cool. Very popular back in the day. You still found them here and there. Very rare. Chimneys. Ether finial. Another ether finial there. Ladies in uniform. And we definitely would build stuff like this. No problem. Could we build stuff? Yes. Anything, these A-frame, simple A-frame buildings. Yeah, we built those. Absolutely. But old Victorian, Second Empire homes. No, we didn't build that. No, I don't think we did. Can we build that? Yes, we can. But, it ain't easy being cheesy. I mean, you go in to try to build a Victorian Second Empire home and you're going to have some problems. I mean, it's a whole nother level of, you got to have some freaking skill. They're not easy to build. I mean, heck, even if you buy one today and try to fix it up, you have to do it historically accurate, and it's very difficult. I mean, you have to create the moldings to historically accurate moldings, which is incredibly difficult. It's actually getting better though. Now they have laser technology where they can scan the room, kind of like LiDAR, and they can scan the moldings and then put them in the computer, and then the computer can generate that molding now. But at one time you had to do it manually. It was very, very difficult because those old world moldings are incredible. This is the monument to the forefathers in Plymouth, Massachusetts. So this is some horseshit narrative is basically what they're saying. Basically, it's just a bunch of horseshit. I mean, this, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if, what any of this has to do with anything recent, but, these things could be changed. I don't know. You'd have to look deeper into this. But, I would guess that this stone feature, the monument portion, the base portion, let's call it the base portion, would be old world. Now, I don't know about the rest of it. You'd have to go in there and investigate more into that. Monument to the Unknown Dead, National Cemetery in Arlington. So we got cannons upside down. And let's see. Beneath the stone repose the bones of 2,111 unknown soldiers gathered after the war from the fields of Bull Run and the route to the Rappahannock. I ain't pronouncing that right. Their remains could not be identified, but their names and deaths are recorded in the archives of their country, and it is grateful citizens honor them as of their noble army of martyrs. May they rest in peace. September AD 1866. So they're saying that there's 2,000 some odd people buried here, and they don't know who they are. Now, how? Okay, granted, maybe they didn't have dog tags back then, but it's like, Billy Bob, Jake, and Dingleberry went into battle, right? And Billy Bob, Dingleberry, and Jeff and Chris didn't come back. Well, you know they're dead. So why don't you put their names on the list? You don't know who they are, but you know that they didn't come. I mean, come on. What'd they do? Desert? Don't you think you know if they deserted as opposed to if they're dead? I don't know. It just seems kind of weird, but whatever. And I don't understand why we have this beautiful structure here and then we put these stupid little names on the side. What's the point of that? That don't even make sense. See, it's stuff like that when it stands out like that and it's like, yeah, that just looks dumb. Then you know we did that. Mount Pleasant House, Mount Pocono, PA. Okay, I don't know who's naming these places, but whatever. Homeboy is just reading and chilling and reading. Smokes him a fatty and then sits back and reads his paper. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Mount Pleasant House. Look at that. That's pretty wild right there. Etherphenyl, and etherphenyl. In case you need some free juice. But bum. And we got Mount Auburn Cemetery, Cambridge, Millmore's Sphinx. So there's that. Jacob Bigelow Statute et Decavit. What? I don't know. America Conservative, Africa Liberta. What? Popular. What? English mother humper. What? Halloum. I don't even know. You speak it. I don't. Whatever that says. It says that. And it's a Sphinx in America with an eagle on its head representing the Phoenix. I don't know. You tell me. Why is there a Sphinx here? What is our thing with what is our thing with Egyptian stuff here? I don't get it. Mount Auburn Cemetery, and don't do it. I know where you're going. Don't do Egypt was in the Grand Canyon. Okay, I've heard it. I don't even want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it. I don't know why. I just don't want to hear it. Mount Auburn Cemetery, the New Chapel, Cambridge, Massachusetts. The wind catcher window. Well, there's Waldo. I found Waldo. Okay, we got some random numbers stuck in there. Templar cross. Little obelisk looking thing here. Got a Templar looking thing going to it. Another obelisk back here. In case you need to bring in some free etheric energy. You got some portholes here. Portholes aren't just round, y'all. Keep that in mind. Look at the beauty on that stained glass. Very nice. I think they changed a lot of stained glass around. I think if you see like Christian motifs in stained glass, I think that's all been redone. I don't think any of that's original. I think they changed the narrative with that, and is that a sun? That's a sundial on the side of that building. Now that's something I haven't seen before. Where's the? I guess this is four ones for wow, with warning hand marked times, rapid flight from life's glad morning to its solemn night, yet through the dear God's love I also show there's light above me by the shade below. Huh, that's kind of neat. I hadn't heard that before. That's by Whiter. Huh, that's kind of neat. And wind catcher. It's a finial up here. It makes me wonder if you looked at this church today, would it have a cross on top? NYYC Fleet, Marblehead, Massachusetts. We got everybody decked to the nines. Everybody's just perfectly dolled up. This reminds me, this right here, this lady with this, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a screen, or I don't know what you call it. It's ladies, help me out here. Anyways, I had an aunt one time that she's gone now, but she used to say that she was allergic to wind. And every time she went out, she'd always cover her face like this. And what's weird is that she was born probably around 1915, which is in this kind of a time frame. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. And I always thought that was weird that, close your mouth, young lady. I just thought it was weird that somebody would be allergic to wind. That's what she'd say. I don't know if it was true. I'm just saying, I just thought it was strange that somebody would say they were allergic to wind. Is that a thing? Have y'all ever heard that? Anybody? I don't know. Maybe she was making shit up. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just showing you sailboats. All these pretty houses out here. Okay. And we got Neptune's Fountain, Library of Congress, Washington, D.C. Looks like a serpent coming up out, spitting at us. Little froggies. We got a dude sucking on a conch shell. Another dude giving a conch job. And we got Poseidon or Neptune here. And he's just chilling with his Phoenician fishes. Those are cool. I don't know. I just thought this was kind of strange. Just doesn't add up for America. I don't know. It hasn't. What does that got to do with America? New Old South Church, Boston. And got the library over on the left, I believe. A little Mudflood window down there. Windcatcher window. Got swastika on the side of the building here. A little windcatcher window there. Flat Earth asterisks, in case you need those. In case you need to know where you are. A little cartouches here. Got some Roman numerals edge. And got ivy growing up the side of the building here. Got Freddy's over here. Freddy's over there. Freddy's everywhere. That's kind of weird. I don't know what that is. It's kind of odd. Windcatcher up here. At their fencing. Finial. More ether finials on top here. Another ether finial there. Kind of hard to see, but it is up there. Little finial sticking up here, bringing in etheric energy. Ether fencing here. Scratching the glass plate negative. Got a cymatic window there. And that one looks like they've changed the glass on it. Arc light. Another cymatic window. Got a trolley being pulled by Fred. Fred really freaking hated that. He's like, y'all need to get this. This is bullshit. Reminds me of that little kid. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's Fred. He's like, bullshit. This is bullshit. I shouldn't be pulling this thing. New York from Brooklyn. And I think Brooklyn is old world too. I do believe. I believe in the Mudflood. I got etheric antennas here, etheric antennas there, etheric antennas there. I spent a day going to help my friend today. She's an elderly lady, and she's got a rental house, and she had to do some work on it, and she's just getting it. Look at that big tall ship there, getting it set up to rent out again. They had to take the renter out of there and do some work. They were having some problems with the house. And anyways, I went over to help her out a little bit today and kind of do some touch-up things for her to get her, going on. And And of course she tried to pay me. I said, no, your money's no good here. So I felt good. I could help her out because, you know, she's on a budget trying to, her way of creating her own income in her retirement, and I got portholes there. But anyways, you know, I treat people that are good to me, I treat good. I treat people how they treat me. And that's, I think, how we should all treat each other. Look at all these tall ships. Beautiful. Just all, you know, just 1890 to 1910. I mean, this is just all there. I mean, like, where's the construction? Where is the, when did they build this? Like, doesn't make much sense. And let me stop there for a second. So that brings me into something that's been, you know, going on over here in America. You know, they're talking about a big thing. They're talking about is shutting off the EBT cards, which is the food stamps, which is basically originally in America we had food stamps that were actual stamps, and you got a stamp got you so much. A stamp was worth so much value, and you would, however much food you got, you pulled off that many stamps and you gave them your food stamps. They were actual stamps. And also back, and I remember these stamps when I was little. I have vivid memories of going to the grocery store, and we never were on food stamps, even though we were low income. I think my mom made $16,000 a year. She was a teacher, and she would just made very little money. And we never were on any kind of government assistance. And we struggled. But we made it, you know. And so we never took food stamps. We never went to the food bank. We never had any government assistance. But we would see people in the grocery stores, and I remember being annoyed by them every time because they would sit there and count them damn food stamps out. Another thing is that back then you couldn't buy regular food. You had to buy the off-brand. They don't have it now, but a lot of you will probably remember these, where they like, you had green beans. It'd be a can of green beans, and it would be a white can with black lettering. Or you'd have corn, and it'd say corn. Or, you know, it'd say you'd have a bag of rice, and it'd say rice, and it was just white rice. It was just, everything was plain. It'd say, you know, cheese, or it would say, you know, and it was just and that was what you could buy. You couldn't buy the top shelf stuff. You had to buy the no name brand. I don't even know what brand it was called or where it came from. I know that we would buy that stuff because it was the cheaper stuff a lot of times, but we never used food stamps. But I remember distinctly that it was considered you didn't want to be on food stamps, because when you went to the stores, people could see you on food stamps because you couldn't hide it. There was no way for you to hide that you were paying food stamps. The way that you physically had to tear the food stamps off, and they would count the food stamps kind of like coupons, it was very obvious. And so if you were at the grocery store and somebody saw you paying with food stamps, then everybody knew you were on food stamps. You didn't want to be on food stamps. You didn't want people to know that you were on food stamps. It was considered a lower form of life. It was degrading. It was not something, it was something if you had to get on food stamps, you got on food stamps, but then you wanted to get off of food stamps. But then they changed it, and now they got the EBT system, and it's a freaking credit card. And basically they give you a credit card, and every month they load it up, and you go to the grocery store and you spend it just like you're spending a credit card. And now they give them, depending on how many youngins you've plopped out, they'll give you a lot of money. And then these people, because they don't have it, because they feel like they've been entitled, they feel like they've been given this freebie from the government. They feel like the government owes them, they're entitled to it. And then they go in there and they buy all this crap. And then they'll make these TikTok videos and showing how all this crap they're buying. And they're not even buying food. They're buying soda and chips and cookies and just the biggest processed. I mean, it'll disgust you if you ever go watch it. But now they're talking about shutting them off, at least for November, maybe December. And these people are throwing a damn fit. And they're talking about, we're going to go to the stores and we're going to steal the food. And that's all fine and dandy, and I get that. But the problem is that they don't understand that they can shut off that the food supply, the supply line, the supply chain. They can shut that off, and the food won't. They think the food is at the store always. It's not. They only stock the stores for what they need for a very short period of time. That's why when you see a storm come through, that they run out of milk and bread and things like that very quickly, because they're only stocked for a certain amount of time. But they can shut off that supply chain, and you might get out of there with a grocery cart today, but tomorrow you're gonna be a hungry son bitch. And they can shut that tap off. And then you really got a problem. And you think that's just really the beginning of your problems, because if the tap gets shut off for y'all, that means it gets shut off for the other people, the people who have been paying for your freebies and who have been paying for their own groceries. And now they can't go to the stores and get food. They're also the most heavily armed populace in the history of man. So now you've got a really big problem, because you say you're going to go and you're going to steal from them. Well, what's going to happen is they're probably going to end up shooting you in the fucking face. That's what's going to happen. So I would suggest finding or thinking of a different way. The food bank is your best bet. Now, another thing that these people do, they'll get these EBTs, and they'll sell them to the drug dealers. The drug dealers, I don't know if you know this, but the drug dealers will take EBT. And what they do is they'll take your card and your code, and they'll go to the store and they'll get the money that you owe them or you want to take for drugs, and they'll take it off your EBT, and they'll get their groceries, and you get drugs. So that's something they do. Another thing they do is they go to the food banks, and a lot of times the food banks will have high-end stuff like steaks, shit like that, and they'll take that and they'll take it to the drug dealers and they'll trade it for drugs. So we got a big problem with that in America. I think we need to go back to soup kitchens. That's another thing, is people don't see the poverty in America, because back during the Great Depression, we had soup kitchens, and the people that were hungry, they could stand in line at the soup kitchen and they could get their meals. That was the food stamps of the day, because they didn't have food stamps back then. Okay. Now people don't see the poverty in America because people have food stamps. So we don't realize the poverty that people are in. But people need to really start thinking about this and preparing for, I guess what I'm trying to say is, y'all need to have some shit stocked up at home, because if these people decide to show their ass, it could get really ugly really quick. Because if you think that these stores are going to allow these people to walk in there and steal all their shit, and then they're going to restock the shelves. Okay, they may go in there and they may steal all the shit once. They may happen once. But if you think they're going to continue to do that, you got another thing coming. Now, that affects you, all you good people right here, because I know none of you people are going to do this, because y'all are good people. I know it. I just know it. Might be a couple of you assholes out there. Maybe. But for the most part, y'all are good people. And so y'all aren't going to be doing this stuff, but this is going to affect you. So I guess what I'm saying is make sure you got some extra on hand. And so going back to the basics of prepping. First off, you can live 40 days without food. So don't worry about starving to death. That's your least of your worries. Matter of fact, once you get over the hunger pangs, you actually will do very well. It's actually a good thing for you. So don't worry about the hunger thing. Be prepared with some sort of food. Okay. Be prepared to prepare your food cooking wise, and don't say, oh, we'll just get some wood out of the woods, or something like that. That's not a good idea, because number one, everybody else is going to do the same thing. Number two, most of y'all don't have woods that y'all can go to get stuff out. Another thing is that going actually out in the woods and getting wood, when you get out there, you're going to find there ain't but so much wood that's burnable out there. Most of it's green. So basically, you're going to be in trouble. So what I suggest is, if you really want to prepare, and I highly suggest this, and I'm not just talking out my ass, this is what I do myself, get you a can of, like a 20-pound can of propane or more if you can, and get you like a Coleman stove, or even just a 1-burner propane stove. Okay, and make sure you've got the hose to hook it up and the regulator. But get this set up, and what this allows you to do is, number one, cook your food. No matter what, you can cook any kind of food on there. Okay, I mean, you can't bake, but I'm talking about you can cook, you can boil stuff, you can fry stuff, you can do some cooking. Okay, so get you one of these, and it also allows you to have it cook it indoors, so that number one, if you got a fire going, you're going to have smoke. If you got a little propane stove, there's no smoke. Okay. Number two, you're indoors, so you can close it off to where people can't see that you're cooking. Number three, you're less, people are less likely to smell that you're cooking food, so they're less likely to come looking for your food. But this is a very inexpensive way to do this. You can find this stuff. You can go on Amazon and buy you just a single propane. You can even get the little bottles of propane to hook up. But I would suggest having, a good amount of propane on hand. You want to be careful with it. You want to, if you smell gas, you want to make sure that you find out why it's leaking. You want to make sure your connections are good. But I like cooking on gas. I cook on a gas stove. And I've been cooking on a gas stove for the last 18 years, and I love it. And it does take a little bit of getting used to, of learning how to cook on that. Cooking on gas is different than cooking on a burner, but once you get used to it, it's actually better. I like it better. Anyways, that's my suggestion to you. But now the first prep this is from studying prepping, and this is the most important prep thing that you can ever learn is water. You can live 40 days without food, but you can only live 3 days without water. So water is more important than anything else. So number one, where is your water? It's in the toilet. Okay, well, fine. Where is your water? When imagine a complete grid collapse, meaning no power. Okay. Imagine that there's no stores, complete grid collapse. Where's your water? Where are you going to get water from? Oh, I'll have bottled water. You can't store but so much water. And believe me, water does not last as long as you think it does. And toting water is not something you're going to enjoy doing. If you want to understand how hard it is to tote water, get you a 5-gallon bucket, fill it up with water, and try to walk with it. You will learn very quickly that is a bad idea. And if you really want to one-step it up, try to haul a 5-gallon bucket of water up out of a 30-foot deep well, and then you will have a whole new understanding of what it was like to live in the past. So where's your water? Number one. Number two, how are you going to get to your water? Because even if you've got a well, okay, how are you going to get the water out of the well? I'm going to drop a bucket down in there. Okay, do you have a pulley? Do you have a rope? Do you have a bucket? All these things are necessary. Do you have a little pulley? I can tell you from personal experience, using a little pulley, pulling a 5-gallon bucket water up out of a 30-foot deep well sucks ass. It is a pain in the ass. If you have a well, I highly suggest getting an old school well pulley, ones that are about that big, about 10-inch well pulley, and have that, and have a rope, and have a metal bucket, because a plastic bucket will tear up, and you have to put tie a rock to it so that it will sink when you get down there. So first off, where's your water? Second off, how do you get to your water? Third off, how do you filter your water? Because water just ain't clean anymore. Okay. And you need to be able to filter it. So I highly suggest figuring out how to purify your water. At the very least, get purifying tablets. They're cheap and inexpensive, and you can get them at Walmart. The next level in the level I would suggest, and you can boil your water, but then that also takes fuel, which is a big pain in the ass. But my suggestion to you is to cough up, I don't know, $300, $400 if you can, and buy you a gravity fed, good quality water filter. One that you pour it in the top and it shits it out the bottom, and it'll taste good. You'll love it. And I've been drinking filtered water like that for the last 18 years. And I also add crystals into my water. I put them in a little sack and drop them into the top of the water, and they crystallize. Helps energize the water. So I cheat. So there's that. Anyways, that's my suggestion. So first, where's your water? How do you get your water? And how do you filter your water? And then comes food. And when it comes to food, simpler the better. Simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Find simple foods that are easy to store, easy to prepare. And I heard this, and this is brilliant. And I heard this on a Doomsday Prepper show one time. The guy says, hot sauce goes a long ways. So check into that. That's something important. So let me, I'll go ahead and get back into this. I just wanted to share that. No, I ain't even dealing with you, big old mouth hound. I'm a big old mouth hound. Hush. You want a biscuit? We got the Old Stone Mill in Newport, Rhode Island. We got a biscuit going in. Where's the biscuit? Biscuit. Oh no. You gonna come get it? And then you run off with it. I don't know how you operate. Sorry, folks. And a biscuit break. Who doesn't like a biscuit break? All right, so we got an Old Stone Mill. Fellow contemplating the universe. Got some wrought ironage here. I'm sure that was not cheap to make. Not easy to make. A very interesting stone structure. Very interesting. Hush it. You don't need to go out. You done went out about 2 times. Once full show, once halfway through the show, and you still are in your mouth. On the Vermilion Rivers, Pontiac, Illinois, between 1890 and 1901. Hush. Ain't got time for it. Go. You get one. Go lie down, go sleep. I'll be there in a little bit sometime in the future. Just go sleep and you won't even know that I'm not there. How about that? Got big old smokestack. Got Mudflood winters down here. Check out this pipe running here. Like, talk about an afterthought. Let's put a pipe from here over to here. Like, total afterthought. Like, that's not original. Why would you, if you're going to build this building to do whatever they're doing here, why would you not incorporate the pipe into the building? That doesn't make sense. That dog don't hunt. They like to sit in the windows a lot too. Hush. And we definitely built this railing here. That's our quality. No doubt. Hush. And we got Oregon, Centennial Hall, Sydney, between 1884 and 1917. It's a hell of a thing right there. Man. I can't even imagine how you'd even figure out how to make that work. Some kind of, looks like, I wonder if that's like an air portal to help get the air back to the organ or something. I don't know. That's some high-tech stuff right there. You know, I don't like the sound of organs, but I don't think it's the sound organs. I think it's the crap they play on them. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I have vivid memories of being in church when I was young and the old ladies singing. That's what it sounded. It's like a dying cat or something. It's a horrific. Like, why does God, like, what makes Christians believe that singing in that way is in glory to God? Because they sound like they're like on their like they're fighting for their life or something. It's so bad. If people that can't sing should not sing, I don't know why they do that. It's horrible, and they still do that to this day. They make the audience. Okay, you got the choir, they sing and they sing good, but then even then it's like terrible music. But at least they know how to sing. But and they practice and stuff. But the parishioners, man, gosh, that was just like, oh, this is the Oriental Hotel, Manhattan Beach, New York. Got some etherpenials up here, ether fencing, more etherpenials everywhere. Got their antennas. What's your problem? I think you got a problem. Go get a toy. Go play with a toy. That's your problem. Them awnings or something. Yes, I know. You're in attention. You're in attention mode. I need attention. Don't you chew on my shirt. He ate my pillowcase last week during the show. I went to go to bed last week and I went to get in bed. He had eaten my pillowcase. Little shit. I couldn't believe it. Penis Cat Boss Man's walking towards us, talking about, you can't film here. No cameras allowed. It's the law. These lights are cool. Got these little interesting features, little windows below the deck there, which is interesting. Got oyster luggers at the docks, Baltimore, Maryland. Oyster luggers. Got arched windows on our little tugboat thingy here. I don't know if that's tugboat. That's not tugboat. What is that? That's an oyster lugger. That's what it said, I guess. That's a cool boat. We're gonna need a bigger boat. I like oysters. Oysters are good. Oysters are acquired taste, though. I mean, you either kind of like oysters or you don't. The trick is don't ever bite into an oyster and then don't half bite an oyster and then look at it. Don't ever do that. That's the trick to oysters. Parliament buildings, Ottawa, and you got to have fresh oysters. And the colder the better. The colder the waters they came from, the better. That's my oyster suggestions. Parliament buildings in Ottawa, Canada. I think I already said that. And we got gas lamps. Got coins going up here. Oh, yeah, stonework there. That's beautiful. Well, that's a melted building. No. Yeah, no. Look at the quality there. That is look at that, man. You got one design here, then you got your coin, which is very irregular. Then you got another design, You got your coin and then the same pattern. But it's like there's so much detail going on there. Like they could have easily done this here or this here, but they decided to go different in between just to give it that extra oomph. And that's just incredible. Ether finial right there. There's another one. Bringing in that etheric energy. Just look at the quality right there. I mean, just incredible. No, I don't think that we built these. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't. There's something not right here. At their fencing and finials all over the place. Look at that contraption. Looks like a flat earth asterisk there. Very nice. These are wind catchers here. Very nice, very nice. Perry Payne Building, Cleveland. Get your whiskeys. Some kind of something going on with the underground right there. And look at this, is always a trip to me. Look at the size of this curb. How high is that curb? Does that make sense? No, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would you build like that curb? How long are his legs? 18 inches? 20 inches? I mean, how long is a foot to a knee? That's how, that's a lot. That is a big curb. Like, imagine trying to step up that. See, down here, that's a normal curb ish. They built on top. It just doesn't. That just doesn't. That's not right. You break your neck on that, no doubt. That's no bueno. Got a Mudflood drop in right here. A boss man right here. Oh, I know where this. I know exactly where this is. This, I think, one of these buildings. It was either this one or this one. Okay, first off, the Rockefeller building's to the right of this picture. I think it's the next building over, but one of these buildings right here, and I can't remember which one. I want to say it was this one, has a famous history to it. There was like a president or something that gave a famous speech from there or something. There's a history there that's long. That there's an interesting story there. I remember reading about that. Prism glass, which is made by the same people that made pavement glass. I know this, when you go down this road right here, there's Mudflood windows all down the side of that right there. It's still there today. Dog toothing. National Bank building. Tourist fields. Perry Payne. That is a nice building. Little beehive there. 1888. Etheric antenna. And we got the Philadelphia and Reading Terminal Station, Philadelphia. Got an outcrop door here. It's like fish scales, kind of. That's weird looking right there. Looks like something we added. Stoneball finial. Ether finials. Ether antenna. There's that weird shield symbol. Still don't know what that's called. Look at the detail. Diamond symbology. It could be pavement light right there. I'm not sure. Mudflood drop in there. Arc light. Mudflood drop in. That's probably pavement light on the front there. That's a Fred's pulling him a little cart there. Hanging out. Clocks are expensive. That's beautiful. This is America. Unbelievable. It's just, I could show you this and not tell you where it's at. And there's no way you tell me this was in America. There's that weird shield symbol. You better hush. We ain't got time for it. We're doing the show. Portholes all the way across the top. There's that weird shield symbol again. There's an open porthole. No, you just wait. And now I know you're just being a booty hole. Weird shield symbol. Hush now. I'll get to you when I get to you. It's almost your turn. Then we can hang out. We can do whatever you want to do. Right now we're doing what I want to do. And this little door just doesn't look right. That doesn't even make sense. I don't know. That don't add up. Would you hush your big mouth? Got a little fella sitting here in the way. Got Pittsburgh from Mount Washington. Hush. Sorry, folks. Somebody's being a mouthy son bitch. Yes, that's you I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking shit. What you gonna do about it? Huh? What you gonna do? Wag your tail at me? Looks like we're building something here. A little bridge, maybe? Yep. It's interesting. They build that like that, and then they got this one over here. See, that looks old, and that looks like it's not old, and makes me wonder if there was something here and it is not there, or it collapsed or something. And they say that I always remember this when I look at this area. Is I ate at a restaurant up on top of this mountain one time, overlooking the city. That was really nice. Back in the 90s, this is a neat city to go visit. They say at one time it was so smoggy there you couldn't even see. It was like really, really bad with the smog. But they cleaned it up now. Look at that train yard. Incredible. Amazing industry. Look at all that. You can't even see. Like, it's so foggy. Oh, wow. I wonder what that is. That thing's pretty wild looking. Ferry boats. Check that one out. A lot of old stuff here in this little city. This is a neat place to, if you ever want to go somewhere neat to visit. This is a neat place to go visit. At least it was. I don't know what places change, but I mean, with today's age, people are getting so hateful. I don't know. Poland Spring House from the Main Street building. Why are you nibbling on my feet, you weirdo? Don't nibble on my feet, crazy dog. Yeah, you're a nut. I don't call a show Muddin and BEAGS for no reason. Flat Earth asterisks right there in case you need that. There's some more Flat Earth asterisks. And more Flat Earth asterisks in case you need those and need to know what kind of world you live in. Got etheric antenna. Got some arc lights up there. It'll be a wind catcher. If you don't quit chewing on my feet, you and me gonna go outside. Or that's what you want, isn't it? You want to go outside. This dog loves going outside more than anything. Look at that water tower up there. That's pretty cool. We're gonna go play in a little bit. Pedestrian church. Excuse me, Presbyterian. Would you quit chewing on my feet? Presbyterian Church, Methodist, Episcopal, Scranton, PA. Sorry, I got somebody chewing on my feet for some unknown reason. You nut. Just because you big 2.0 don't mean you get chewing on my feet. You nut job. Yeah, you a crazy. Yeah, a whack job. Yeah, make asylums great again. Yeah. I don't mind. Send you right on to the straitjacket, people. That's where you need to go. Wind catcher. That's nice. Arc light. Looks like that makes the light shine downwards. The little funnel there, it's on top. You see it's got the dirt up against the building, hiding the windows. So those go deeper. All right. Residence of Cornelius Vanderbilt, New York, New York. So one of your elite of the elites. This is where the well-to-dos would be. They got the best Freds. Just immaculate constructions. What's your problem, you big nut, you big old hound? I'm a big mouth hound, yes. At the fencing. Sorry, folks. I'm getting really annoyed by somebody. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to whoop your ass is what's going to happen. You and me going to go, quit chewing on my shirt, you nut. He wants attention. He's going to get attention here in a second when I get to whooping his ass. I'll knock you out. You and me. We'll go outside. One of us is going to come back. Which one you think is going to be? Huh? That's what I thought. You better quit messing with me. You're going to fuck around and find out, ain't you? Yep, that's what's going to happen. Got Boss Man right here. And look at these pearly gates. Good grief. Man, oh man. Talk about man, oh man, oh man. That is just next level. If you don't quit chewing on my shirt, I'm just going to take you out and it's going to be over because it's going to be the show's not going to be no mudding and bees. It's going to be just mudding or it's going to be just big because I'm going to knock you out, you big old nut. Quit messing with me. Sorry, folks. I'm getting harassed. I'm getting bullied. That's what's happening. Got portholes here. So even the rich had portholes. What you got going on there? Looks like a dragon. Got etheric antenna. Unscrubbed cartouches. Very, 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 very nice. And I'm pretty sure they tore this one down. You know, we can't keep good stuff. Oh no. Etherphenial. Look at that thing. That thing looks like it could call, another planet. Man, that's a hell of a structure. I don't know. Riveters at work, cramped shipyards in Philadelphia. So they're putting the rivets in this right here. Watching riveters work's pretty neat how they do it, how they throw the rivets when they're hot. And I don't know, just kind of neat. Look at all that big wood. And we got the Casino Theater, New York. Cobblestone Brick Road. It's not melted, sorry. And we got all kinds of bowler hats everywhere, arc lights, big arches, lots of detail, very Moorish looking. Moors were in America. Wind catcher up there. This is a Moorish look. Very Moorish. They were top-notch builders. Look at that thing. Good grief. Very Moorish look to it. I mean, you get rid of the casino signs and the freaking fire escapes that we added. So it's kind of funny. See, they didn't need fire escapes because they didn't, they weren't making fires in the buildings. So they didn't have problems with fires. We had problems with fires because we would put fires in the buildings. Check out this spiral staircase right here. Does that look like it originated there? It doesn't even look right. An outcrop door, and look at this staircase. Like, really, you're gonna walk that staircase? You think that staircase is original? Does that look like it's original? Does that, like, when you're designing that building, that beautiful building, do you think you're going to design a staircase on the front of it? Does that make any sense? Would you put this sign on the front of this building? Seriously? Oh, Fred just out there hanging out, wondering what the hell's going on in here in Bella Bohemia. Can't believe it. That's a cool Fred right there. Pooper Scooper Man. Arc lights. Very nice. That's a antenna. Notice how that mutt's calmed down now? Mutt, I'm talking about you. Yeah. Sorry, Mutt. You old sorry, Mutt. Disturbing us like that while we're trying over here to look at some Mudflood stuff. Got our electric lights right there. Knob and tube wiring, lights, incandescent bulbs. Very nice. So I think that is a good run for tonight. That's 50 pictures. I always pick out 50 pictures and try to get through them. Sometimes I accomplish my mission. Sometimes I do not accomplish my mission. Tonight I do believe I did accomplish that mission. I do believe. Is there any questions that you would like to shout out and ask before we shut her down and go deal with this beagle that needs a booty whooping? He probably ready for me to make him some dinner. He looks like he ran out of dinner. Dog has weird eating habits. He had dinner before I started, and now he wants more. I don't think he didn't finish all his breakfast. Then so it was half of it sitting there. And I think he needed more. Anyways. I see Morgan still hanging out with us, and GT and Kathy. Let's see if we got any. 6R looks like he's still here. Y'all been chatting away. Y'all got any questions? I don't see no questions coming in, y'all. So we will probably head out here and get on down the road. But I appreciate all of you hanging out, and we will come back and do it very soon. There are pictures in that collection I have never seen. One with the fog. It was Impossible Place. Where was that? There's one with the fog. Are you talking about one of the last pictures that I showed where it was looking down from the mountain onto the city, and there was a lot of train yards in the foreground, and I think the fog was off to the right? Is that what you're talking about? If that's what you're talking about, that was Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I think that's Steel City is what they called it. And at one time it wasn't fog, it was smog. They had a huge problem because the factories, the smoke would come up from the factories and it would get trapped in because it's surrounded by mountains, and it would get covered. The smog will get caught in the mountain ranges, and it would just they say you couldn't see. They've cleared it up now and made it a lot nicer. Yeah, that is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yes, that's exactly where that is. Hush it, you big mouth. Don't be looking at me like that. Hound dog look at me like he's about to chomp me. What in the world? So, okie dokie. Anyways, I think that's about it. Oh, little footnote. I am trying to put together a Halloween show for Friday night. And if I can pull it together, then we'll do it. If not, then I won't do it. But I'm going to try to pull together a Halloween show. So that may or may not be coming, but I've been working on it, trying to get it right and do a little something. And so we may have a Halloween show. I will let you know when I know. But I appreciate all of you, and I hope you had a good time. I know I did. And I'm going to go deal with somebody here who's gone absolutely nutty dog and deal with them and take them outside and whoop their ass. Love, Biggs.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
It's a mystery! It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma! Don't you get it?
Say woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
Welcome to the underground.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.